We're back with a brand new drop list, and the King in Black is there. So stay tuned. Welcome back, Gainers, to another incredible, exciting, fantastic episode of ComicGains. If you're new to the show, I'm Adam.
I'm Zach, and this is Princess, Her Royal Highness, looking very lovely today, just like usual. Do that princess wave. She's doing that princess wave. You do it too. Bow down, respect. Of course, Coco's right over here. You can't see her. Well, now you can.
The mascot is in the house, Comic Coco. All right, guys, we are back on Monday after this awesome comic weekend we just had, and I want to share the current comics that are on the drop list for you. This is a list that we put together every week where we report on 5 comics that have taken a dip in sales over a year ago, and it's a fun way to do this. We scour the internet for trending lists, hot lists, any kinds of list?
Any kind of list.
Any kind of list that people want you to look at comics, and we wait a year later and see if they're still worth taking a look at. Sometimes they are for different reasons. Sometimes they dip in price just because people kind of forgot about it, so it might be a good time to pick them up because the spec may be coming back, or it was a dead spec and you may want to forget that they ever existed. Sometimes that happens. We got a really cool list this week. There's a bunch of goodies. We got some ratios. Sometimes ratios end up on our list. Those are always fun. And sometimes a new drink ends up on our list. Or an old drink.
An old drink.
A repeat offender.
I need all the energy I can get. So I get some Red Bull. It gives you wings, guys. 10 calories. This is a sugar-free. But so it's a small drink. What am I? A Ken doll?
A Ken doll?
Because the drink is so small.
The Ken dolls have little drinks?
Oh, yes, they do, Adam.
He's like, give me a tiny little drink to hold.
And little Barbies.
Little Barbie drinks?
Mm-hmm.
Zach knows his Barbies. He also knows his comics. So if you want to come hang out with us on Whatnot, you can buy some sweet, sweet comics at some great deals from Zach on Saturday at 3 p.m. Pacific time, where all of our auctions start at $1 at 30 seconds. And we always give away slabs at the end of the show, which is crazy. And Princess hosts her very own show after ours, the main event of the Royal Rumble, where she has the legendary mystery polls as well as the Wheel of Games, where you never know what you're going to get, as Forrest Gump would say. Right? Yeah, it's kind of like that. Good time.
It's like a wheel.
All right, let's get back to the comics. All right, guys. So we have 5 comics that have taken a drop in price over a year ago, and we put them in order for you from the least amount drop to the greatest drop of the week, and you also get the special number 1 pick, Zach's number 1 pick of the week. Sometimes if you're lucky, he'll give you 2 picks, 1 in each nose. No, you don't want to do that. You don't want to do that. All right, let's start it off strong. We got Todd McFarlane goodness all the way back from 1993. You have Spawn number 9, as they say in Germany. 9! And like I said, Todd McFarlane, great cover and story by the great Neil Gaiman. This is the first appearance of Angela and lesser-known medieval Spawn.
Oh, yeah.
And if you didn't know. And Angela, if you're not familiar with her, later became Thor's half-sister when the property was sold over to Marvel because of a disagreement between the creators of Todd McFarlane and Neil Gaiman. Kind of interesting. And you didn't know, it's also a cover swipe to Wonder Woman 72, which is kind of cool. Kind of interesting cover swipe there. If you didn't know, I always thought it was kind of cool that back in those early Spawn runs, you have 8 and 9 he did with two special writers. You had 8 did with Alan Moore and 9 with Neil Gaiman. I always thought that was kind of funny. But this had to do with a lot of Thor spec. I think Zach was even specking on this book to be a possibility that Angela could show up in Thor Love and Thunder a year ago. A lot of people are thinking there's a chance. And did it happen, Zach?
No, it did not.
It did not. It was not.
A letdown. A
little bit of a letdown. But I think this will always be a classic book. It's, so one of those books in the 90s where everything was massively overprinted, but this one has held a steady price. I think if you buy a clean copy for $20, you will not be upset with yourself. If you get it for cheaper, you'll be even happier. And it kind of just ebbs and flows. Sometimes it's a $50 book, sometimes it's a $20 book, but I haven't really seen it go less than $20.
No.
And Zach will report the graded ones because that's kind of more important. But be on the lookout for the newsie, as Princess always says, because that's gets you a fair price on that book in a newsie.
A fair bump, yes.
Mm-hmm.
Prices a year ago for a CGC 9.8 was $155. Now it's $120. Not too bad.
It's the lowest drop.
Range $64 to $200. Average sale $128. It's about a 23% drop. And it's not too bad. It's nothing to go like, like in that.
Oh, the Thor.
Not Thor Love and Thunder.
Ragnarok.
One of the best movies ever for Marvel. And that's all I got to say about that.
Yeah. It's like the Empire Strikes Back of Thor.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Yeah, great book, though. Great book. All right, next book on the list, number 4, maybe a little lesser known book. Princess is the one that introduced us to this book, and it landed on the drop list, is Marvel Zombies, number 1. I think there's actually quite a few different Marvel Zombies, but this is the one from 2015. It's a 1:25 ratio cover by Greg Land. Beautiful, beautiful book there. And it's pretty much the only thing you need to know about this is that it's a great cover by Greg Land. There's not much else, spectacular about the inside of this story. It doesn't have any other character spec to it, but cool thing, what's a bonus about this book is Greg Land's actually one of the original creators of the Marvel Zombies.
Wow.
He did all the FF covers during that time when they were doing the Ultimate Fantastic Four Zombies. He did all those great covers for them, so it's kind of cool that he did this variant cover as well. And if you guys didn't know, Elsa Bloodstone covers are hot just because of the cover. So Princess has been collecting them. I know a lot of you guys have been collecting them. They're just good for that reason. Mm-hmm. They don't, like I said, they don't have to have anything else good inside. Just have to have Elsa looking hot on there. Sure. And this kind of had a lot to go with Werewolf by Night, the TV show that was coming out last year, around October. And we kind of knew which characters were going to be in that show, made her even hotter. And as we know, that show was awesome. But, the books dip a little bit. I would still be on the lookout for all Elsa covers, especially now. They are a quite a bit better price than they were right before the show. But Zach will give you the update on that. Cool cover, though. I like this. I don't know. You guys have to tell us in the comments down below, do you like blonde-haired Elsa or red-haired Elsa? Which one? Which one do you like better?
It's hard pick.
It is tough.
Very tough.
There's more red-haired ones.
Yes. So this one is pretty interesting. Not a lot of people get this book rated. I mean, one of the reasons is a 1:25. So every 25 issues, there's one of these. So that's pretty rare in itself. There's only 54 9.8 universals. So there's only been 2 sales in the last year. And it has dropped. Or else it wouldn't be on this list. Prices a year ago for a CGC 9.8 was $203. Now is $131. Range 131 to 203. Average between the two, 167. Not a bad book to get. It has a beautiful cover. It has Elsa Bloodstone. It's required to have this cover. You are required to have this cover if you love Elsa Bloodstone and you want to get over appearances or minor appearances, or I don't even know if she's in that issue, but she's on the cover and I want it. I want it bad. So right now, I'd probably just get a raw book, keep it on the cheap. But if you get a chance to get an already graded 9.8, I would also do that too. You're just getting it for the cover, guys. Just get it for the cover.
Kind of like that America book, the Deadpool one. That one's cool too.
Yeah, I want to get
just good for the cover. That's a ratio as well. Yeah, just put Elsa on ratio covers. There you go. That's your gold right there, Marvel. They will retain their value somewhat. All right, next on the list we have number 3, and the King in Black made it all the way to number 3. We got Venom 3 at number 3, 2018. Donny Cates, Ryan Stegman. Ooh, that was a good combination together. This is probably one of the greatest, probably the greatest Venom run to come out, and revitalized a lot of the community members into reading books again after this one came out. You have the first full appearance of Knull on the cover. He is the King in Black and the creator of the symbiotes. Just a great story overall. This book actually got a little bit of hype with Thor, Love and Thunder, because we all knew we were going to see Gore, the God Butcher, and we did get and we got the Necro Sword, which is
Knull's sword.
Yeah, Knull's sword, and it's actually technically made out of a symbiote. So people thought we may get a little hint of Knull, maybe leading up to another story. We didn't get that, unfortunately. I don't know if it was time yet, but it could have been. It could have been time, but we're hoping in the future we may get Knull, and this has been a good book for a long time, since 2018. But yeah, I think this book will always kind of have high value until maybe we get a movie. If it doesn't do good or not, maybe the only time that it dips down a little bit. I know the current Venom story has been a little confusing, kind of made Knull a little less important now that like Eddie is the King in Black, and they kind of like look to the future, and like Meredith is the King in Black in the future, which is a version of Eddie. So it's kind of made Knull a little bit shrink down in size a little bit, or less important. I think he should be more important. But books to look out for. There's the 1 in 25 Jorge Molina, which is very expensive, but it's kind of a 50-50 cover for me. It's not like the best cover in the world, but it's kind of expensive. But I would more be out looking for that third print, the Frankie's Comics, where he is on the cover, his first cover appearance, as well as his first appearance, which he's not on the cover of this one. And it's a great cover, and there's only about a little under 10,000 copies ever printed. So that would be my go-to. Zach will let you know if you should be looking for this. This is the book I like.
Yeah. It's a very good book. Price of the year go for this symbiotic, beautiful book. It was $360 for a CGC 9.8. Now it's $225. Range is 189 to 449. Average sales 291. It's about a 38% drop. I think this has a lot of legs, guys, and it's not the easiest book to get into 9.8 because of the almost all white cover. So it's really easy, get dirt left on there. Easy to see the imperfections on the dirt side. Not so much the spine ticks. Spine ticks are a little bit more hidden. You just press it out and hope for the best kind of thing. But with a white cover, it's the stains. You'll see it from a mile away.
Yeah, I don't think the paper quality is not too good on the Venom run either.
Yeah. And Knull's coming. He's gonna be coming eventually, and he's gonna be coming all over your games if you get this book.
Think it'll be Sony or MCU?
Sony.
You'll probably be in the Sonyverse.
Dirty.
Probably be in the Sony.
Yes.
I thought you were going somewhere dirty. That's why you're talking about Knull. He's kind of dirty.
Oh yeah.
All right, number 2, and the list would not be complete if we didn't have an ASM book on the list. I can't believe this one. This is early. This is early to be on the list, and it's already number 2 as well. Amazing Spider-Man 210, 1980. John Romita Jr. This is probably one of his better covers. And Dennis O'Neil. Great book. First, Madam Web. And this has been a highly, highly respected book for a very long time. Yes. For the longest time, it was over $100 for a raw copy in decent condition, in like a VF or better condition, for sure. Just because Madam Web's such a cool character. Very, very respected. Well, we know there's a movie coming out through Sony. It's not going to be the MCU, and they're making a Madam Web movie. Last February, they announced that Dakota Johnson is going to be playing a version of Madam Web. We don't quite know yet, like if it's going to be how they're going to do Julia Carpenter or the original one, or how they're all going to tie in. I know it's going to have some connection to the Craven movie, so to speak, because I know Craven has some family members who later become other versions of Madam Web in the comics. So we'll see. Plus, they're both going to be Sony, so we'll see how that works out. But you know how Sony movies go. You're not sure why you need it, and then you get it, and then you're not sure if you needed it even after you got it. Like the Morbius movie, I was like, okay, this could be cool, and then now you never know. And even some of the Venom ones were a little hit or miss, depending on how you feel about that. But I think also it's important to remember that in the Spider-Man 90s cartoon, when they showed Madam Web and they were really against putting her in the cartoon because they based a lot of the toys on the cartoon, and they figured young boys would not want to play with a grandma version of Madam Web. But it was cool that Stan Lee's wife voiced her in the cartoon, which was very, very cool, I thought. Really and cool. She has, kind of a connection to OG Spider-Verse, because I know in the cartoon they used her to like branch off, bring other Spider-Man characters into the cartoon version of it, and that was kind of a special thing. And Spider-Verse is a big deal, so we need to see Madam Web somewhere. Somewhere! We will see her, though. Zach, what do we got? Is it the right time to pick up the web?
I think it's spun in the right direction. See, for price of the year, you go for a CGC 9.8, first appearance of Madam Web. It was $1,320. Now it's $720. Range 720 to 2,146. Average sales is $1,234. It's a 45% drop. I think this book has a lot of chances of going back up to that 1,200, 300 price range. maybe even higher. Once they show her, depending on what kind of version they're going to have her as and how instrumental she's going to be to the Spider-Verse. I mean, this book could have legs for days. Could have a lot
Could
of
have
room
8
for-
legs.
Could have 8 legs and crawl up the walls to the ceiling gains. And that's all I got to say about that.
I think everybody loves that book too. It's kind of like one of those universal. You show someone that book and you're like,
Ooh.
it's cool. That's a cool book.
Oh.
All right, and last but not least, hope you guys made it all the way to the end because you get to hear the number 1 drop book of the week in the universe. I don't know about the universe, but could be the universe. And we got What If number 10 from 1978. John Buscema and Don Glut making the list. Ooh, oh, we got a little
some tape.
The tape.
It's taped together.
No, it's not taped together. Great book. We got What If Jane Foster Had Found the Hammer of Thor. And what do we get from that? We get first appearance of Lady Thor. In this book, she was known as Thorness. Thorness. I'm glad they didn't use that one. You guys didn't know What If is out of continuity. So it's kind of like, this is kind of like what could happen if this would, and playful things and whatnot. And a lot of times back in, in the 70s stuff, in 70s and 80s, they didn't take this too seriously that it was ever going to happen in the real world. What? Jason Aaron made it happen. Made a sweet book, Thor series, and decided to use Jane Foster and had her with the cancer when she picked up the Thor's hammer and kind of revitalized her and made her like more powerful Thor, if you will. And great story. It's a really cool story. In the comics, it was really fun because she was a mystery character. Like showed up, you didn't know it was Jane Foster. You just knew she was like a female Thor from Asgard, and teamed up with the people. She actually joined the all different Avengers, and nobody on the team even knew her secret identity until Falcon found out when she dropped the hammer and they got sucked into a time warp that she actually looked like Jane Foster. And it's kind of sad. She's got like no hair and was very skinny and frail and stuff. So great story. It's kind of cool that they put her in a Thor: Love and Thunder. They killed her. Hopefully that didn't ruin it for you guys, because I think they could have used her a lot longer. She's actually on the team with Miles and Kid Nova and Miss Marvel and Falcon, Captain America. Like the people that are actually in the movies right now would have been perfect if they created the new Avengers with her in it. Would have worked out. But alas, they did not. And that is probably why she's the number 1 drop book on the list this week. All of the Lady Thor books this entire list could have been Lady Thor books, guys. We just decided to do one of them. I think out of all the Lady Thor books as well, this is the one that has the longevity, though, because we respect it. Everyone loves this book. Obviously, it's not as expensive as it once was, but I think 20, 30 years from now, it'll be right back where it was, in that special place in our hearts.
Right?
Yeah.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
Well, Thor dropped a hammer on this one. Prices a year ago for a CGC 9.8 was $1,275. Now it's $613. Range $613 to $1,400. Average sale is $1,043. It's a 52% drop. Hammer drop. Doing the hammer dance on this book. And I think this book has a nice longevity, but it's definitely not going to be one of those books that's going to be like, I need this book. I have to have this book. It's going to be one of those books that like put in your collection because you like the character and it's pretty cool, but it's not going to be like top tier. I don't think ever.
Blue chip.
I don't think it's ever going to be blue chip. Knull has a lot of potential, so that's my pick.
Number 1 pick? We're at the number 1 pick?
Venom. Yeah, Venom 3. But I do want the What If 10. But Venom 3, I think is the number 1 pick. And a strong second probably would be Amazing Spider-Man 210. I think. Because that's a character that they could probably use for a good while. At least they should, both of them. They shouldn't just kill them off in one movie. But they might. It's Marvel. Who knows?
Yeah.
But they can always bring them back. That's also known for Marvel. All right.
I would agree with that. Yeah, Knull I think is a good idea. The only thing would be bad if he shows up in a movie and he tanks. You might never see him again, maybe.
Right.
Yeah, that'd be the only. But it's cheap right now. If you like that whole run, you might as well collect them. 7 and 9 are both cheap too. Gotta snag those up. Yeah, criminally cheap. Get those Dylans. All right, guys. As usual, if you like and love the show, all you can do for us is hit the subscribe button and smash that little like button right next to it. And then leave a comment down below. Let us know what you think about the drop list this week. And hit that notification bell because we like to go live on Wednesdays. You never know if we're going to drop a Saturday CGC video or just a special, we want to say hi to you video. And yeah, Zach, you got anything else for him? The people at home?
You have to share. How you do that is you have to go to one of those grave burial sites. Not grave burial sites, but like those sites where they find all the dinosaur bones. You find some dino DNA and you fuse it with yourself and you become Jurassic Man. And you're like, everything's like much bigger and you're like cold-blooded most of the time. And hopefully you get the right time period or else you're going to look like... idiot. I'm from the Jurassic period or whatever period that is. I don't know. I'm not a scientist. And then when someone corrects you, you're like, oh, I guess I gotta change my name.
To Thoracic period?
Thoracic period. And that's how you don't get those kids.
Oh no, I took the herbivores.
Oh no! What are they ever gonna do? Herbivores. Yeah. Stupid.
Mm-hmm. Alright, guys. Until we see you next time, stay safe and remember,
get those carnivore gains.
Get them.
Jurassic carnivore gains.
Every single one.
Every single one.